Hey everybody, today is probably Thursday the 18th, so I should be in class today, but just in case somebody wants to work ahead, I wanted to put a video in here. So we're talking about angles and angle bisectors. Hopefully you've already opened this up. It's going to look a little different because I haven't put in all the links, but there's definitely a digital notebook in here. You need to go do page 15. There's a video that will help you with that C5 IXL. So we're going to go to Math Space now and do the angle basics. There's a lesson and a practice. So in that lesson, you're going to have three different things. You're going to have the lesson, an investigation on bisectors, and then the angle basics. That's what I want. No, the textbook, finally. So we know what rays are. We've got the rays, we've got opposite rays and opposite rays. So one ray goes in the purple direction, the other goes in the blue direction. Those are opposite rays. You can do the practice here, so talk about that. Remember, we start at an endpoint and go towards the arrow. So FB is going to be the same as EB is going to be the same as ED, right? So we want to talk about those. And then we're identifying angles. We can identify angles with the vertex, just angle O, or we can be more specific. AOB goes from the bottom to the top, or BOA goes from the top to the bottom. So all three of those ways are ways to identify that angle. If we want to do the reflexive angle, that big obtuse angle, then we need to specify that, right? So normally we talk about the small angle inside. We only refer to this in very special occasions, and we call that the reflex angle because it's big. So you've got some practice here. Just kind of go through these, do what you can. Don't spend a lot of time on it. You can watch that little applet video. We've got acute angles that are small, right angles that are exactly 90 degrees, obtuse angles that are bigger than 90 degrees, and then straight angles that are exactly 180 degrees. These straight angles are going to become super important in tomorrow's lesson. So you're going to be able to classify angles. This is smaller than 90 degrees, so it is an acute angle, and you can reveal the solutions there. You can talk yourself through these. That is bigger than 90, but smaller than 180. So that's obtuse. Bigger than 90, smaller than 180, obtuse. And then this one is going to be exactly 180. That makes a straight line, so we call that a straight angle. Identify congruent angles. Congruent angles have to be exactly the same in every way. So if I tell you that these are congruent because I've got those angle loops in them, if this angle on the left is 152, then the angle on the right is also 152, okay? Once you have done that, it's going to be time to go into the assignment. So I'd like to talk about the assignment. Select all of the right angles. Remember, we mark right angles with that right angle box, so that should be pretty easy. You want to mark all that apply, right? Any acute angles, remember acute angles are smaller than 90 degrees. So I've got acute, acute, acute. This is a reflexive angle. This is a whole angle of 360 degrees. And then this is a straight angle of 180. Obtuse angles, bigger than 90, smaller than 180. So bigger than 90, smaller than 180. This one looks like a straight angle, so I don't think I'm going to count that one. This one definitely obtuse. This one looks obtuse too. If you're not sure, you can put a sticky note or something you know to be square up to it and see if it's bigger than the right angle corner. This one's acute and this one's acute. That question's a little tricky. This diagram shows angle ABC. What is another way of referring to that same angle? So we can go ABC from the top to the side to the bottom, or we can name it backwards from the bottom to the side to the top. So what is another way? That angle that is the vertex, that B, has to go in the middle. So B, we can't start there and we can't end there. B has to be in the middle. That vertex angle has to be the middle of the three letters. So you go from end to middle to end, or end to middle to end. Kind of like the midpoint. That middle angle has to be in the middle. Select the two angles that have been marked congruent in this diagram. So it's angle P and angle Q, but it's not quite that easy. So angle TPQ, TPQ is not even an angle, right? We can go SPT, SPT looks good, and maybe SQR and SQR. Voila. Those two angles right there. Remember that vertex has to be the middle of the three letters. That's how you name it. So now you're just going to keep going through, select the two angles that have been marked congruent. So how can you name C and name A? You need to name C and name A. Remember the A and the C have to be the middle letter. You can go either DCB or BCD and either DAB or BAD. Select the diagram where BAD and DCB are marked congruent. So BAD is congruent to DCB. Those angles have to be marked congruent with the same number of loops. So here these two are congruent, and here these two are congruent. Here none of them are congruent because I've got a one loop. Oh no. These two are marked congruent, but that's crazy because they don't look congruent. Maybe they are. And here I've got two angles down here, B and C, that are congruent. So look at your drawings and figure out which ones are marked congruent. This was our example from the notes. So if this is 52 on the left, this is 52 on the right. Here's where we start needing to do some algebra. So here's my screencastify. Let's see if we can do this. Because we've got two loops here and we've got two loops here, we need to set those equal. So 5x plus 7 equals 3x plus 23. We're going to subtract our smaller variable. So subtract 3x from both sides, subtract 3x from both sides. I get 2x. If I move my variables to the left, I can move my constants to the right. That's a plus 23, as I recall. So I bring my equal sign down. My plus 7 and minus 7 cancel out. My plus 3 and minus 3x cancel out. 23 minus 7. My brain hurts a little bit today, so it's going to take me a minute. 23 minus 7 is 16. So I'm going to write 16. If 2x equals 16, then x equals 8. So the first thing I'm going to do is write x equals 8. But then there's a second part. What's PQR? So angle PQR is over here. I've got to insert my 8 right here. So that becomes 5 times 8 plus 7 or 47. So you got to make sure that you're answering the right question, right? X equals 8, but the measure of PQR equals 47. According to the following diagram, which two options form a pair of opposite rays? So remember, opposite rays go in opposite directions. So DG would be opposite to DB. And I don't see DB as a choice. DA would be opposite to DE. DE is a choice. So I think probably it's those two. Opposite rays go in opposite directions. So DE is opposite from DA. Question number 11, what point is the vertex of this angle? Remember, the vertex is the middle, right? So if I label that, it's going to be RST. So that middle letter is always the vertex. Which two rays are legs of that angle? Well, that's SR and ST. So SR and ST. You're going to name those rays from the vertex to the other letter. And that's going to be the pattern every time. Classify angle ABC by its measures in each case. So ABC is 25, that's going to be acute. ABC is 64, that's also going to be acute, smaller than 90. ABC is 90, that's going to be right. Get the same thing here. Remember, obtuse angles are bigger than 90 but smaller than 180. Straight angles are exactly 180, acute angles are less than 90, and right angles are exactly 90. And that is the end of that practice.